Thank you for staying with CNN News 18 and cutting across to breaking news. Well, in the wake of India stepping up pressure on Pakistan to act on terror emanating from its soil, Pakistan Foreign Minister has made a big admission. Speaking exclusively to CNN's Christian Amanpour, Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Qureshi has made a big admission. He said that Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar is in Pakistan. In the world-exclusive interview, Qureshi still maintains that India must provide Pakistan with actionable evidence against the Jaish's complicity in the February 14 Pulwama terror attack in which 40 CRPF jawans were martyred. Now remember, the global community has united against terror and has been urging Pakistan to take action against terrorists on their land, with many nations now demanding the blacklisting of Masood Azhar by the UNSC and asking Pakistan to take action against perpetrators of terror.
The Indian government would like you to, have that, or would like his name, the head of it, to be put on the international terrorist list. But your friends, the Chinese government are constantly, apparently on your behalf, vetoing that. Is it something that you would welcome now in the wake of this rise, this escalation in tension between you? Should he be put on that terrorist list?
We will be open to any step that leads to de-escalation. And if they have good, solid evidence, please sit and talk. Please initiate a dialogue and we will show reasonableness.
Is the chief of Jaish-Mohammed, Masood Azhar, is he present in Pakistan? And if so, will you go after him?
Well, he is in Pakistan. According to my information, he is very unwell. He is unwell to the extent that he cannot leave his house because he's really unwell. If they give us evidence which is acceptable to the courts of Pakistan, after all, we will have to justify. They will go to the court, and if they have solid, inalienable evidence, share it with us, so that we can convince the people and we can convince the independent judiciary of Pakistan.
And Zaka Jacob is now joining us on the phone line. Zaka, at a time from across the globe where pressure is being mounted on Pakistan to not provide safe haven to terrorists, this is a big admission coming in from Pakistan that Masood Azhar is on their land. Never have they admitted this in so many words until now.
That's right. He's admitted that Masood Azhar is indeed in Pakistan, but in the same breath, he's also tried to paint Masood Azhar as this old man who is unwell and can't get out of his house, which may very well be true, because we've also heard independent reports about how he's been in hospital and how he was inside a hospital facility in Rawalpindi, inside a military hospital, and so on and so forth. But I think what is important here is this is the first time that a senior official, like the foreign minister of Pakistan, has admitted that Masood Azhar is indeed on Pakistani soil. Remember, the blacklisting issue is only on the question of Masood Azhar. The UNSC has already blacklisted the Jaish-e-Mohammed. So the terrorist organization that Masood Azhar heads is already blacklisted by the United Nations Security Council. So why is this man still in Pakistan? And if he's in Pakistan, then why is he not being prosecuted against? I think these are the questions that will be asked of the Pakistani authorities. And more importantly, I think what is essential is that with the release of the captured Indian Air Force pilot Abhinandan Vartaman, I think Shah Qureshi is also trying to say what his boss Imran Khan said yesterday, that look, we are releasing him as a peace gesture, and we hope that this is a first step towards negotiations. The second part, which I hope we can also play out, is where Christian Amanpour asks him about the Chinese vetoing the blacklisting of Masood Azhar. This time, the foreign minister of Pakistan says, if there is evidence and if India can convince the United Nations Security Council, all members of it, all 15 members of it, including China, then we don't have a problem with the blacklisting of Masood Azhar. So I think he's admitting two things. One, he's admitting that yes, Masood Azhar is on Pakistani soil. And two, he's saying that if India gives enough evidence that A will stand in a Pakistani court of law, and evidence B, which can convince the United Nations Security Council, then Pakistan does not have a problem with the blacklisting of Masood Azhar. I think these are two big news points that have come out of that interview.
But Zaka, a mountain of evidence has been presented to Pakistan. Even earlier during 26/11, nothing was done against Hafiz Saeed. This time around again, a dossier was issued to Pakistan on JEM's role in the Pulwama terror attack. This is a line that Pakistan has just been maintaining, that give us the evidence. How much more evidence do they need? Because they're only going to deny it.
Well, look, there are two parts to this. India has given as much evidence as is possible that can be given by a country that has been attacked. For example, and I'll corroborate this with an example, what happened in the case of 26/11 was India gave the voice samples of those people who were on the other side of the phone lines, the handlers of people like Kasab and other terrorists who had attacked Mumbai in 26/11. What needed to be done further by the Pakistani authorities was to then take the voice samples of those people and match it with the actual voices of the people who were accused and people who are standing trial in 26/11. The problem is the Pakistanis refuse to investigate further. They refuse to prosecute these people because if you don't investigate and if you're not able to corroborate the evidence that India has given, then that evidence does not stand in a Pakistani court of law. That is what has happened in the case of Hafiz Saeed. That is what has happened in the case in the past, certainly vis-a-vis Masood Azhar. It's not that India has not given evidence. India has given evidence, but there is a limited ability to which India can give evidence. The rest of the investigation needs to be done by the Pakistani authorities, which they fail to do, and that's why it is not prosecutable in a Pakistani court of law. That's why that evidence is not standing in a Pakistani court of law. And I think that's where these terror cases have been stuck in the past. This time what Qureshi is saying, and again I will take whatever he's saying with a big pinch of salt, is that if India is able to give evidence of the Pulwama attack, and if that evidence is able to stand in a court of law in Pakistan, then they are happy to take action against Masood Azhar. He's also said that if this evidence prima facie convinces all 15 members of the UN Security Council, then we do not have a problem with the blacklisting of Masood Azhar, and then we will not stand in the way of China blocking the blacklisting of Masood Azhar.
This is certainly a big admission by Pakistan, and it's also probably the right time to strike the iron considering the kind of global pressure that is mounting against Pakistan. And we wait to see how India takes this further on that note.